Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Using Ordinal English Gematria, where A equals 1, and each letter is incremented by 1 until we reach the letter Z, which has a value of 26. Antichrist, bow, crown equals 234. And so does Harry Charles Albert David, as well as Henry Charles Albert David, as well as false Messiah, as well as and he that sat on him had a bow, as well as Invictus Toronto. I will speak again later in regards to Invictus Toronto and the relevance of that. All these calculations equal 234. The curious thing about the number 234 is that it can be represented by the numbers 216 and the number 18. 216 has the factors 6 times 6 times 6, and 18 is composed of 6 plus 6 plus 6. 234 also has the factors 39 times 6, which are both imperfect numbers. 234 plus its mirror 432 equals 666. There are 6 calculations that equal 432 that have to do with Prince Harry's name. 432 is in itself a multiple of the number 216. 216 times 2 equals 432. Once again, the number 216 has the factors 6 times 6 times 6. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Invictus Games White Horse equals 292, and the number in words 234 also equals 292. Using Ordinal English Gematria, he went forth conquering and to conquer equals 412. Also equaling 412 is His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales, as well as His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. Using Ordinal English Gematria, conquering and to conquer equals 270, as well as Prince Henry and Prince Harry. Using Ordinal English Gematria, the Antichrist, bow, crown, white horse equals 397. Also equaling 397 is the following combination. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Duke Harry Charles Albert David equals 275. And using Latin Gematria, Duke Harry Charles Albert David equals 122. If we add these numbers up together, we get 397. Latin Gematria, or single-digit Gematria, is where A has a value of 1, and each letter is incremented by a value of 1 until the letter I, which has a value of 9. The following letter is then reset back to the value of 1, and every preceding letter is incremented by a value of 1 until once again the number 9 is reached, and the system is once again reset to the number 1 with the letter that follows, so that only single digits are used. Also equaling 397 is the following combination. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Duke Henry Charles Albert David equals 275, and using Latin Gematria, Duke Henry Charles Albert David equals 122. If we add these numbers up together, we get 397. Also equaling 397 is the following combination. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 666 equals 275, and using Ordinal English Gematria, Chi, Xi, Stigma equals 122. If we add these numbers up together, we get 397. Chi, Xi, and Stigma are the Greek letters that represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6, respectively. Using ordinal English Gematria, Antichrist equals 121. Also equaling 121 using Latin Gematria is Rider of the White Horse. Using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry equals 5,813. The following combination also equals 5,813. Using Standard English Gematria, Rider of the White Horse equals 1,462. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 238. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 1,602. And using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 1,428. And using Standard English Gematria Binary, it equals 962. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 121. If we add these numbers up together, we get 5,813. A detailed explanation of each Gematria type can be found at the end of this video. If we keep the same list and add to this the value for Rider of the White Horse using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, which equals 1,323, we get a total of 7,136. The following combination also equals 7,136. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Henry of Wales equals 1,782. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 216. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 1,802. And using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 1,296. And using Standard English Gematria Binary, it equals 582. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 99. And using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 1,359. If we add up all these numbers, we get 7,136. Now, if we retain the value for Rider of the White Horse using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, which equals 1,323, we find that it equals the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry equals 1,116. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 135. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 72. If we add these numbers up together, we get 1,323, which has the factors 7 times 7 times 9 times 3. This is extraordinary. We have 3 calculations that connect the Rider of the White Horse to Prince Harry. But wait, there is more. Using Standard English Gematria, White Horse Invictus Games Toronto equals 2,929. And using Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry the Duke of Sussex equals 2,929. Using Standard English Gematria, White Horse Invictus Games equals 2,209. And so does the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Henry Charles Albert David equals 2,063. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 146. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2,209. Here is another interesting calculation. Using Standard English Gematria, Invictus Games equals 1,224. And using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, Invictus Games equals 9,502. If we add these two numbers up together, we get 10,726, which is the same total for the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, United Nation Covenant with Many equals 3,215, and using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 353, and using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 3,025, and using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 2,118, and using Standard English Gematria Binary, it equals 2,015. If we add these numbers up together, we get 10,726. The fact that it equals the same total as it does for the Invictus Games combination infers that there is a relationship between the two topics. Using Ordinal English Gematria, White Horse Bow Crown RFID equals 280. Also equaling 280 using Ordinal English Gematria are the words for the number 361. The relevance of the number 361 is that is Prince Harry's Gematria using Standard Hebrew Gematria, and the square of 19 is 361, and 19 is an imperfect number. It should be noted that RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification, and radio frequency identification will be the type of communication used with the Mark of the Beast. Using Standard English Gematria, White Horse Bow Crown RFID equals 2,359, and using Ordinal English Gematria it equals 280. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 127. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2,766. Also equaling 2,766 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, Henry Charles Albert David Wales equals 2,472. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 294. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2,766. If we leave remaining the calculation for Henry Charles Albert David Wales using Standard English Gematria, which equals 2,472, the following combination also equals that number. Using Standard English Gematria, Radio Frequency Identification equals 2018, and using Ordinal English Gematria it equals 299, and using Latin Gematria it equals 155. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2,472. If we leave remaining the calculation for Radio Frequency Identification using Standard English Gematria, which equals 2018, the following also equals that number. Using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, Henry Charles Albert David Wales equals 2018. But still, there's more. There's more calculations, and they all have to do with radio frequency identification and the rider of the white horse. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Prince Harry Charles Albert David equals 299, as well as Prince Henry Charles Albert David, as well as 361, as well as radio frequency identification, as well as the rider of the white horse is. While we are on this topic, using Latin Gematria, the rider of the white horse is equals 146, and using Latin Gematria, Prince Harry Charles Albert David also equals 146, as well as Prince Henry Charles Albert David. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, the words for the number 666 equals 2083. Also equaling 2083 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, the rider of the white horse is equals 1784, and using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 299. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2083. The following two calculations are combination calculations that both equal 1948. Using ordinal English Gematria, the rider of the white horse is equals 299, and using cardinal ordinal English Gematria, it equals 1649. If we add these two numbers up together, we get 1948. Also equaling 1948 is the following combination. Using standard English Gematria, Harry equals 889, and using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 70, and using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 569, and using base 6 English Gematria, it equals 420. If we add these numbers up together, we get 1948. Using ordinal English Gematria, rider white horse, bow crown, first seal equals 406. Also equaling 406 are the following two combinations. Using ordinal English Gematria, King Harry Charles Albert David equals 275, and using Latin Gematria, it equals 131. If we add these numbers up together, we get 406. And using ordinal English Gematria, King Henry Charles Albert David equals 275. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 131. If we add these numbers up together, we get 406. Using cardinal ordinal English Gematria, rider white horse, bow crown, first seal equals 2364. And so does the following combination. Using standard English Gematria, King Harry Charles Albert David equals 1958, and as previously spoken, using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 275, and as previously spoken, using Latin Gematria, it equals 131. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2364. The following two combination calculations equal 3,395. Using standard English Gematria, rider white horse, bow crown, first seal equals 2,989, and using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 406. If we add these two numbers together, we get 3,395. Also equaling 3,395 is the following combination. Using standard English Gematria, chi, xi, stigma equals 986, and using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 122, and using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 566, and using base 6 English Gematria, it equals 732, and using standard Hebrew Gematria, it equals 323, and using ancient standard Greek Gematria, it equals 666. If we add up all these numbers, we get 3,395. Chi, xi, and stigma are the Greek letters that represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6, as seen in Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Refer to Strong's 5516 for more details. The following two combination calculations equal 3,696. Using ordinal English Gematria, rider white horse, bow crown, first seal Prince Harry equals 541, and using cardinal ordinal English Gematria, it equals 3,155. If we add these numbers together, we get 3,696. Also equaling 3,696 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, Invictus Games equals 1224, and using Ordinal English Gematria it equals 162, and using Jewish Old English Gematria it equals 1284, and using Base 6 English Gematria it equals 972, and using Latin Gematria it equals 54. If we add these numbers up together, we get 3,696. 3,696 has the factors 6 times 616. The number 541, which I mentioned just moments ago, is a special number. Not only using Ordinal English Gematria does 541 equal rider, white horse, bow, crown, first seal, Prince Harry, but it also equals, using Standard English Gematria, first seal, and it also equals, using Standard Hebrew Gematria, Israel, and it also equals, using acrophonic Ordinal Hebrew Gematria, Antichrist, look to Harry. That makes a total of 4 calculations that equal 541. The curious thing about the number 541 is that it is the number of units within a Star of David. A Star of David is composed of a hexagon with 6 triangular tips. The next curious thing that can be seen in the graphic that is before you is that each triangular tip can be surrounded by a diamond of 666 units. If we multiply the number of units in each diamond by 6, we get 3,996. This just so happens to be the Gematria for the following calculation. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry, Mountbatten, Windsor, Wales, Spencer equals 3,996. And using Standard Greek Gematria, the King, Captain Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Wales also equals 3,996. Using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, Prince Henry, Duke of Sussex equals 16,099. Also equaling 16,099 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, rider, white horse, bow, crown, first seal, Prince Harry, Charles, Albert, David equals 5,088. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 705. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 5,758. And using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 4,230. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 318. If we add these numbers up together, we get 16,099. Using Latin Gematria, Prince Harry, Prince Henry, Albert, David equals 188. And using Latin Gematria, and he went forth conquering and to conquer also equals 188. I should remind you at this time that using Standard Hebrew Gematria, Prince Henry Albert David equals 666. The following combination also equals 188. Using Ordinal English Gematria, white horse equals 130, and using Latin Gematria it equals 58. If we add these two numbers together, we get 188. Using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales equals 2,428. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, a covenant with many also equals 2,428. The following combination also equals 2,428. Using Standard English Gematria, white horse equals 985. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 130. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 1,255. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 58. If we add these numbers up together, we get 2,428. Using phonic Hebrew Standard English Gematria, Henry Charles Albert David equals 4,411. Also equaling 4,411 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, White Horse equals 985, and using Ordinal English Gematria, White Horse equals 130, and using Jewish Old English Gematria, White Horse equals 1,255, and using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 780, and using Standard English Gematria Binary, it equals 485, and using Latin Gematria, it equals 58, and using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 718. If we add up all these numbers, we get 4,411. The following two combination calculations equal 5,270. First of all, using Standard English Gematria, White Horse, First Seal, Crown, equals 2,229. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 312. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 2,729. If we add these numbers up together, we get 5,270. Also equaling 5,270 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, the covenant with many equals 2,490. And using Ordinal English Gematria, the covenant with many equals 240. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, the covenant with many equals 2,540. If we add these numbers up together, we get 5,270. Using Latin Gematria, White Horse, First Seal, Crown equals 123. And also using Latin Gematria, 600 6 also equals 123. Using Standard English Gematria, Antichrist, White Horse, Bow, Crown equals 2,920. The following combination also equals 2,920. Using Standard English Gematria, Harry Mountbatten Windsor equals 2,810. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 110. If we add these two numbers up together, we get 2,920. Using Standard English Gematria, Duke Henry Charles Albert David equals 2,165. And using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, Antichrist, White Horse, Bow, Crown equals 2,165. The following is an excerpt from my video, The Antichrist and a Glass of Wine, Chapter 9. There is a repeat of some calculations, but for the sake of continuity I have not edited them out. Chapter 9. The First Seal. Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. What are we meant to be looking for, given that the book of Revelation is highly symbolic, obviously not a literal white horse with a rider wearing a crown and holding a bow? The two greatest clues we have for the first seal is the dual chronology of the book of Revelation and quite a number of Gematria calculations. Let me briefly explain the dual chronology before revealing its importance. The book of Revelation has a double timeline, which means that the book can be split into two. Chapters 1 to 11 represent one timeline, and chapters 12 to 22 represent another timeline. Further, upon closer examination, we can see that Daniel's 70th week is represented by chapters 6 to 11 with one timeline and chapters 12 to 19 with the second. This means that the following chapters match. Chapter 6, Tribulation. Chapter 12, Tribulation, both in the first half of Daniel's 70th week. Chapter 7, the 144,000 and evidence of the rapture. Chapter 14, the 144,000 and the event of the rapture or harvest, both in the middle of Daniel's 70th week. Chapters 8 and 9 are the 6 trumpets blown co-sequentially with chapter 16, and chapter 16 are the 7 bowls poured out co-sequentially with chapters 8 and 9, both in the second half of Daniel's 70th week. Chapter 11, God's wrath and Armageddon. Chapter 19, God's wrath and Armageddon, both in the second half of Daniel's 70th week. Chapter 10 is a pause or break to the main events. Chapter 15 is also a pause or a break to the main events, both in the second half of Daniel's 70th week. The dual chronology of the book of Revelation is further detailed in Appendix B of the eBook. A link for this can be found in the description box below. The dual chronology therefore stipulates that the first seal and the Revelation 12 heavenly sign occur on the same day. In other words, Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2 and Revelation chapter 12 verses 1 and 2 occurred on the same day, as they are both the exact beginning of the tribulation. Details of the Revelation 12 heavenly sign, which culminated on the 23rd of September 2017, can be seen in my video, The Revelation 12 Heavenly Sign, 14 Pregnancy Points. On Saturday the 23rd of September 2017, the Invictus Games Toronto, Canada were opened. Melania Trump met with Prince Harry, who famously posed with a devil's horn gesture. It is believed that Prince Harry, using the Invictus Games as a platform, has gone forth conquering and to conquer. Conquering what, you may ask? I believe conquering people's hearts. Prince Harry is the rider of the white horse, and that horse is the Invictus Games. Here are some interesting calculations. Using Latin Gematria, 58 equals white horse, and so does the Duke of Sussex. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 130 equals white horse, and using Latin Gematria, 130 equals Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, as well as Prince Henry, the Duke of Sussex. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 234 equals and he that sat on him had a bow. It also equals Harry or Henry, Charles Albert David, as well as false Messiah, as well as Invictus Toronto. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 292 equals Invictus Games, white horse. Also equaling 292 is the number in words 234. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 412 equals he went forth conquering and to conquer. Also equaling 412 is His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales, as well as His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Invictus Games equals 162, and using Latin Gematria, Invictus Games equals 54. If we add these two numbers together, we get 216, which has the factors 6 times 6 times 6. Also equaling 54, using Latin Gematria, is the term Mark of the Beast. And using Ordinal English Gematria, the letters CHXS equals 54. Those letters are an abbreviation for the Greek letters Chi, Xi, and Stigma, which represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6. Using Standard English Gematria, and he that sat on him had a bow, equals 1521. And using Ordinal English Gematria, the same phrase equals 234. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, the same phrase equals 1561. If we add these numbers together, we get 3,316, which is the same Gematria value for United Nations, a covenant with many, using Standard English Gematria. Using Latin Gematria, 99 equals the phrase, "and he that sat on him had a bow." 99 also equals white horse, bow, crown, as well as Prince Harry of Wales, as well as Prince Henry of Wales, and first beast of Revelation. It should be noted that the number 99 is one short of the perfect number 100. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 270 equals conquering and to conquer. Also equaling 270 is Prince Harry plus Prince Henry. Using Latin Gematria, conquering and to conquer equals 117. Also equaling 117 using Ordinal English Gematria is Invictus, Toronto, and False Messiah. Using Standard English Gematria, 405 equals False Messiah. Also equaling 405 using Ordinal English Gematria is United Nations, the covenant with many. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex equals 2716. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 304. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 1816. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 115. If we total these numbers together, we get 4,951. Amazingly, using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, False Messiah also equals 4,951. There is a strong connection between the phrase from Revelation chapter 6 verse 2, which says, "He went forth conquering and to conquer," and the meaning of the word Invictus. Invictus is Latin for unconquered. It should also be noted that the logo for the Invictus Games utilizes the letters I am. I am is of course the name of God. Exodus chapter 3 verses 13 and 14. And Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. The Invictus Games is the white horse from the first seal, and it gets its name from the poem which reads as follows. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the foul clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. Notice that the last line is particularly wicked when compared to Scripture, that is, the scroll. Matthew chapter 7 verses 13 and 14. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Hebrews chapter 2 verse 10. For it became him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 2. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. The term scroll in the Invictus poem is a reference to the Bible, which was first written upon papyrus scrolls before eventually being printed into a bound book. So what about the imagery used of the bow and the crown? The scripture specifies that the rider of the white horse be given a crown, and thus implies that the bow is already in his possession. If the rider of the white horse has a bow, then what about his arrows? What exactly is the weapon with which he is projecting from his bow? It is interesting that a hypodermic needle with its extremely sharp, pointy end could indeed represent an arrow. Further is the speculation that the mark of the beast is an RFID device, which as it happens requires a hypodermic needle to be implanted under the skin. RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification. It is believed that Prince Harry was microchipped in the forehead just prior to beginning his school life at the private boarding school Eton on the 2nd of September 1998. Judging by the scarring, the chip was inserted via a scalpel. There is a lasting little horn on Prince Harry's forehead as a result. If this is the case, then Prince Harry is indeed armed with a bow, since he has already had the experience of being chipped. Using ordinal English Gematria, 40 equals bow, and so does the name David, which is Prince Harry's last name. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry equals 1116, and using Ordinal English Gematria it equals 135, and using Latin Gematria it equals 72. If we add all these numbers together, we get 1323, which has the factors 7 times 9 times 3. And using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, rider of the white horse also equals 1323. Chapter 8. The Covenant with Many. Queen Elizabeth addressed the United Nations on the 6th of July 2010. During that speech, she referred to the UN as the United Nations singular on 3 occasions. It was her second speech at the UN, the first being on the 21st of October 1957. She refers to the United Nation instead of United Nations at approximately the 3-minute, 7-minute and 8-minute marks. The fact that she intentionally referred to the United Nations plural as the United Nations singular is very telling as to what the elites think of this organisation and where it's heading. It should be noted that Prince Harry was at the UNICEF headquarters, 6 kilometres away from the United Nations headquarters, on the 27th of June 2010, just over a week before his grandmother's speech. Daniel chapter 9 verses 26 and 27. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. It is believed that when Prince Harry was at the Invictus Games Toronto 2017 opening ceremony on the 23rd of September 2017, that he confirmed his covenant with the many, who are believed to be the United Nations, by wearing an RFID wristband. It should be noted that the 23rd of September 2017 was the day of the Revelation 12 heavenly sign. Because of the dual chronology of the book of Revelation, chapter 6 is the beginning of one timeline, and chapter 12 is the beginning of a second timeline, which coincides with the first, with chapters 11 and 19 being the ends of those 2 timelines respectively. From the 27th of June 2010, when Prince Harry was at the UNICEF headquarters making, I believe, his original covenant, until the 23rd of September 2017, when he confirmed his covenant, there is exactly 2,646 days inclusive. Inclusive means we count both the start date as well as the end date. The factors of 2,646 are 6 times 7 times 7 times 9, which means it also has the factors 49 times 54, as well as 294 times 9. I will speak later in chapter 13 of the significance of factors and spans of time, but suffice to say there has been two significant observations when it comes to factors and spans of time, namely the blood-moon tetrad fulfillment and the great 2017 solar eclipse. Using ordinal English Gematria, 294 equals 666, as well as 600 threescore-6, as well as Harry or Henry Charles Albert David Wales. 9 is the number of judgment and finality. Once again, 2,646 equals 294 times 9. Peculiar to say the least. Using Latin Gematria, 72 equals Prince Harry and Prince Henry, as well as Harry Lucifer and Henry Lucifer, the United Nations, stigma, 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 covenant with many, Invictus Toronto, wristband Harry, wristband Henry, NFC the Duke of Sussex, NFC Duke of Sussex Wales, NFC White Horse, NFC RFID bracelet, where NFC stands for Near Field Communication and RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification. Using Standard English Gematria, Prince Harry equals 1,116, and using Ordinal English Gematria, Prince Harry equals 135. If we add these together, we get 1,251. And using Standard English Gematria, the United Nations also equals 1,251. If we add the total for Prince Harry using Latin Gematria, we get 1,188. The same value for the United Nations using base 6 English Gematria. Using Latin Gematria, 146 equals Prince Harry or Prince Henry Charles Albert David, as well as His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 146 equals United Nation. These numbers tell us there is a clear relationship between Prince Harry and the United Nation, or United Nations. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, UN equals 240, and so does using Ordinal English Gematria, the covenant with many. Using Standard English Gematria, 2,278 equals a covenant with many, and using Ordinal English Gematria, 208 equals a covenant with many. If we add these together, we get 2,486. Using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, the acronym UN also equals 2,486. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, 711 equals UN many. It also equals the United Nation. It also equals stigma, stigma, stigma. Please refer to page 75 of the eBook for more information in regards to the number 711. Using Standard English Gematria, 1,116 equals Prince Harry. Using Ordinal English Gematria, 135 equals Prince Harry. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, 766 equals Prince Harry. Using base 6 English Gematria, 810 equals Prince Harry. Using Standard English Gematria binary, 416 equals Prince Harry. And using Latin Gematria, 72 equals Prince Harry. If we add all these numbers together, we get 3,315. Using Standard English Gematria, 3,315 equals United Nations Covenant with Many. For many more calculations and much more information, please refer to Chapter 8 of the free eBook. A link for this can be found in the description box below. The following is a collection of Gematria definitions. If you would like to see the full repertoire, please visit my video, The Antichrist and a Glass of Wine. The link can be found in the description box below. When using Standard English Gematria or numerical Gematria, A has a value of 1, and each letter is incremented by a value of 1 until double digits are reached. And then each letter is incremented by a value of 10 until triple digits are reached. And then each letter is incremented by a value of 100 until the letter Z, which has a value of 800. Standard English Gematria binary. In this system, the letters that exist after the 22nd letter have a value of 0. The basis for this is that there are only 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and that should then be reflected with any system using the English alphabet. According to Tim Cohen, the author of the book The Antichrist and a Cup of Tea, this system was devised by Monty Judah in 1987, and the application to Charles' title, according to Tim, discovered also in 1987. Source: The Antichrist and a Cup of Tea, page 58, subscript 1. When using base 6 English Gematria, A has a value of 6, and each letter is incremented by a value of 6 until the letter Z, which has a value of 156. The values for Jewish Old English Gematria are as follows. It should be noted that the letter J equals 600, the letter V equals 700, and the letter W equals 900. Gematrix.org calls this Jewish Gematria, and I have been calling it Jewish Old English Gematria, since it orders the letters J, V, and W, which entered the alphabet after 1630 AD, and adds their values based on the timing of their entry rather than their existent order in the English alphabet. I believe that ampersand, the 27th letter, would have had the value of 800, which is why there is no value shown for 800, and why W has a value of 900. Gematrix.org does not actually explain this. I have had to deduce the information. Cardinal Standard English Gematria and Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria utilize the spelling of each number and then convert the respective letters into each ordinal or standard values. This means, for example, that the cardinal number 1 has a value of 34, since the number 1 is spelt with an O and has a value of 15, an N and that has a value of 14, and an E which has a value of 5. If we add these numbers together, 15, 14 and 5, we get 34. So the cardinal ordinal English Gematria value for the letter A is 34, and the cardinal standard English Gematria value for the letter A is 115. Once again, the spelling for 1 is O, which has a value of 60 using standard English Gematria, N has a value of 50, and E has a value of 5. If we add 60, 50 and 5, we get 115. So the cardinal standard English Gematria for the letter A is 115. We repeat this process for the spelling for each number until we get to the number 26, which represents the letter Z. Now let me explain the numbering systems for the following 6 Hebrew Gematria systems. First of all, ordinal Hebrew Gematria. With ordinal Hebrew Gematria, each letter is assigned a number in accordance with its position in the Hebrew alphabet, or alphabet. This means that Aleph has a value of 1, and Tav, which is the 22nd letter, has a value of 22, because there is 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. With standard Hebrew Gematria, or numerical Hebrew Gematria, each letter is assigned a number in accordance with achieving a numbering set. This means that Aleph has a value of 1, and each letter is increased by a value of 1 until we get to double digits with the letter Yod. After double digits are reached, each letter is incremented by a value of 10 until triple digits are reached. After triple digits are reached, each letter is incremented by a value of 100 until we get to the last letter, Tav, which has a value of 400. The next Gematria system is acrophonic ordinal Hebrew Gematria. Using this Gematria system, the numbers that are generated come from the spelling of each Hebrew letter. For example, the letter Aleph is spelt with a Aleph, a Lamed, and a Pei. Pei also has a F sound. So Aleph has a value of 1, Lamed has a value of 12, and Pei has a value of 17, because we are using ordinal Hebrew Gematria values. The total for 1, 12, and 17 is 30. This means that the letter Aleph has a value of 30. With acrophonic standard Hebrew Gematria, instead of using ordinal values, we use standard or numerical Hebrew Gematria values. This means that Aleph has a value of 1, Lamed has a value of 30, and Pei has a value of 80. The total of the numbers 1, 30, and 80 is 111. This means that Aleph has a value of 111 using acrophonic standard Hebrew Gematria. The next system is phonic Hebrew Gematria, which is based on the ordinal English or standard English values rather than the Hebrew values, which means we have to use the English spelling for each letter. The English spelling is based on the Unicode spelling for each Hebrew letter, which means that Aleph is spelt with an F rather than a PH at the end. Using ordinal values, Aleph has a value of 24. Since A has a value of 1, L has a value of 12, E has a value of 5, and F has a value of 6. 1 plus 12 plus 5 plus 6 equals 24. Using standard English values, Aleph has a value of 42. Since A has a value of 1, L has a value of 30, E has a value of 5, and F has a value of 6. 1 plus 30 plus 5 plus 6 equals 42.